Black women were the first women ever. In ancient times, and those remote times, she was the one who attracted the eye of the gods. She was the one whom the gods deceived into being with him. She was the one who was the mother of ones like Perseus and all of those guys in there. Don't forget, some of those stories are a retelling of very remote stories, very ancient stories. She is also the one who, if you go by Genesis 6 or the books of Enoch, she was the one when the watchers came. Were a type of angel. They were a group. There were 200. When they came, they took all of whom they can get to marry. They were fallen ones. It was the black woman, Eve's daughters and granddaughters, whom they were looking at. So, maybe a few generations down. That's what they were looking at. They were looking at a bunch of number 8s running around, nice figures, the number 8. Think about some of the ancient physiques. That's what they were looking at. And they weren't fully clothed like you would see, like in some Bible movie. No. Those women weren't all head to toe covered in sort of a, like an Islamic garment or something. No, that came later. But it was because the women attracted so much angelic activity. That's where the origin of the covering comes from. It has nothing to do with men going crazy and going Google over in order to turn the eye away from the woman. You cover. No, it started out with that activity. They were very much attracted to the hair of a woman, especially. There's a significance about a woman's hair. Black women were the first mothers. She was the first aunt, the first daughters. Black women were the first goddesses. Minerva, Diana. All of those current ones, the names that you hear now, are actually rehashings of ancient ones. There are original ones. Even the continent of Europe. I'm not sure she was a goddess. I think she was the princess. She was a princess. She was this beautiful princess that was stolen from Canaan land and brought to the land that would later be called Europe. And her name was Europa. Now, they used the term Phoenician, which is really the same people. Canaanite. It's just, Phoenician is just a Greek term. So, with her being Canaan, that was what? Black. Canaan, Caphtor, Ham were brothers. In other words, Canaan land, where Israel sits today or thereabout, Caphtor, where Crete sat, that's where he settled, and Ham, where Egypt settled, were full brothers. So they're not racially different people. They were brothers. Them and their descendants settled there. So when you look early in remote times, during the times where writing and the building of temples was going on, you had an influence. You were the first damsels, the first princesses, the first damsels in distress. But they come out with the rhetoric that you don't want to be saved. But you were the first ones in stories, in myths, in legends, in fairy tales. Cassiopeia and her daughter Andromeda were what did they say they were? Ethiopian? And we don't mean Ethiopian. They say that there are two groups of Ethiopians, one in the west, the other in the east. They're saying India as far as the other type of Ethiopians in the east. That's according to ancient thought. But come on, folks, we know they mean the Ethiopians in the west, the Africans. And we're not talking about the nation of Ethiopia. Ethiopian is a Greek term at the time for someone who has the appearance of very blackened skin. Remember Aesop? He was considered Ethiopian. And they call him a black man. So, there you go. Remember the stories of Clash of the Titans? And in there, yeah, they were actually black women. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be redundant here. Your Greek stories, your Greek goddesses, your Greek myths and legends and Roman and all of those guys in there are rehashings of something remote. Even Egypt has rehashed stories. So when people tell you, oh, they got it from Egypt, no, Egypt stories do not. There are cultures and civilizations that are older than Egypt, and that's where Egypt got their information. So let's not get a little prideful and get all Nubioni and Egypt this and Egypt that. No, there were civilizations before Egypt, which Egypt got their information from. So women, Chica, you are old. You are very remote. Very old. The whole, Madonna and Child scene. Let me tell you where that originated. That did not originate with Egypt. Like I said, there's a civilization that is much older. It did not originate in Babylon either. When Adam and Eve first did the deed, there was a prophecy that something was to happen down the road that would be the antidote to the fall, and it would come through woman and through woman only. So that's where the whole idea of a woman giving birth to the antidote to the fallen state, that's where that originated. Did not start with Egypt or Babylon. So all the Hotep thinking, cut it. Cut it. So ladies, you have a lot to really look at. We can come down to the medieval ages. You were there too. Oh yeah. You were there. They act like you're not there. And some of you were in high stations in life. Not only that, you were very much honored. See, when it came to sort of, I guess you could say, when you start to come into modern times, like around the 1600s and all of that, and they invented that monkey bull crap about you coming from a freaking monkey, that was to soothe the minds of those who were putting black people in slavery, even though it started with black men selling people. But they were other people were the ones buying them. You have a heritage that is much greater than a freaking 3-foot monkey. You go so you're much more. You are much more. Then we come down to today. And people don't want to believe that you were the first. People don't want to believe that you were the damsel in distress because they're looking at a snapshot of what they're seeing now. They don't dig and get the three-dimensional view of who you are. They're looking at a snapshot which is one-dimensional or two-dimensional. They're not getting depth. They don't see who you are. So if you have groups of black men that don't want to see all the gold that's within you, that's their loss. I think the rest of the world knows. I think they may not know exactly your history and who exactly you are, but they know that there's something about you. There is depth within you that does not exist elsewhere, really. Everything else is a copy. We look over, okay, going back to Crete. You think, they show those pictures of those women. There's that one famous painting with the three women. They're sort of at a profile looking to the side. And there's a blue background. That's fake. You have to understand when you are seeing something fake. If they keep showing it, it's fake. But they hide all the African goddesses. They hide all the black Cretan women that were painted. Oh, they're going to hide that. We don't want to show the first. See, a lot of stuff is hidden. Etrusca or Etruria, it's properly called Etruria. That's that civilization right before, like, the Roman Empire, that is so mysterious to a lot of people. Go back and really dig and see what you run across. Look at some of the hairstyles. Look at the big earring jewelry that they wore. And then we wonder why, ladies, we like to wear large jewelry. There's a memory there. Ladies, you are the first. Whenever black men want to disrespect you, just laugh. Because they're giving away gold. You are the gold. You are the ruby. You are the diamond. And you are the rose with the thorn.